It's the Undressed Show. Yes, it's Wednesday night Undressed. Here we are again, another interminable week gone by, yet still slathered in sweat. We sit waiting for the winter to arrive, dreaming of cooler days, maybe a little rain or snow. We don't ask for much, but I purposely digress. I try to see our panel through the smog that settled not long after the end of the Korean War. Good old Conroy's. Nothing changes. Yes, Conroy's Emporium, where you can catch anything your heart desires. Now then, my fellow undressed, it's me, Jeremy Taylor, your English host, left behind having been Brexited with the weekly crew of miscreants who, as you know, have already been banned by the FCC, the IOC, and numerous other Cs, and many other organisations ending in C.
The Middle Sea,
in fact,
the Black Sea.
All Cs. We are at sea. I've wandered again. Let me introduce the naked but not undressed panel today. The very wise Dr. Orlando.
Yo.
That indefatigable Kathleen Taylor.
Hello.
Jane Carter, not to forget the quiet lord of Eastern pheromones, Ivo Ivanov, who has rejoined our cast wearing cowboy boots as you hear him tripping across the floor, fresh from his Transylvanian sleep. Enough of that. We need to get on with the show.
Hold on, before we get on with the show.
Thousands of pornsters.
Wait. Before we get on with the
wait.
show, I've got to say that at this point, isn't Cameron gone? Isn't David Cameron stepped down at this point?
Yes.
So you got to lay off the whole Brexited thing. That's like last year's news at this point.
Not for the UK.
Oh, is it still a big deal over there?
Oh, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
All right. Proceed.
Neil Rasmussen's back. Yeah.
Woohoo.
Looking good.
The fact that we now, like the Germans, have a lady leader who
Yes?
will deal with Trump in due course when he comes to build his Scottish wall.
What is that lady's name?
May. Theresa May.
Theresa May, her
that's
name
right.
is.
Okay.
So here's the thing. On Saturday, I was bored, and I deleted just over 10,000 emails. Apparently, I've been reported to the Trump outfit as a non-legitimate talk show host, and I wonder, should I turn myself in?
Whose emails were those?
They were my own emails.
You actually had 10,000 emails?
I had 10,000 emails. I deleted, just a little over 10,000.
He only just learned how to use the delete key.
See, about 99.9% of those were like, meet your Chinese date.
No.
Nigerian,
Those are the ones he
prince.
kept.
Some of them were from a Bulgarian bank.
Nigerian prince, Bulgarian bank.
Yeah, belonging to some Bulgarian author. I've been getting his
Vietnamese
proceeds.
bride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean, okay.
So what you're saying basically is it's not anybody's job to be inspecting how many emails you delete, but Hillary's were on. Those were government emails. Those were not. Well, some of those were actually personal emails, right?
That's
a lot of
large
them
number were personal. The problem is
you can never tell which ones were personal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, and we're being serious about it. We understand from the FBI, who have been advised by the CIA, who probably know what's going on, that there were about 30, you might say, illegitimate emails, of which one was truly confidential. And the contents of that one, which of course everybody knows, was where she was congratulating someone on a new job.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is, really, does it matter? Or is it just about one campaign having a go at another campaign?
Yes.
I'm not even sure that it's one campaign going at another campaign. I think it is one party
going after the other, no matter what they do.
because it's been going on for years. Yeah.
Because it's
They're
become
going to pretend that there's
ridiculous.
something wrong somewhere.
I think it started with the Monica Lewinsky thing. It probably didn't start there, but that was kind of set a precedent for going with everything you've got.
No, it started with way
Whitewater.
before that with Whitewater.
Ken
They decided they were going to
Starr
destroy the
was
Clintons.
the prosecutor for Whitewater. That's how he found out
And
about
facts weren't going to
Monica.
get in the way of any investigation.
Yeah. So if one party is actually successful in something they're doing, as the Clinton administration was extremely successful with our economy, And also, with international politics, Clinton was extremely popular internationally.
Oh, yeah.
And
He knew how to party, man.
yeah, and really, we were only involved in one war, and that was a successful intervention in East Europe.
Are you talking
in
about
Serbia.
the bombing of Kosovo?
Yeah. And it was necessary, it was timely, it was well executed and minimal, and it worked. And so
But it came on the edge, on the cusp of the whole Monica Lewinsky fiasco, so it looked inopportune, or it looked very opportune for Bill Clinton. At the time.
The wag the dog thing. But at the same time, I think it was infuriating for the Republican Party that this administration was so darn successful, and they were willing to grab onto anything. Pun intended.
Watch it.
I'm still back at the dog.
Yeah, wag the dog.
The tail,
You know what that
tail wags
means?
the dog.
No, I've no idea.
There was actually
Could
an
you
excellent.
explain what that means, Kath?
Yeah.
Well, it's when a small, unimportant thing becomes more important than an important thing. A tail, you hold on to the tail and wag the
Diversion.
dog
Yeah.
is...
It's diversion. There was actually an excellent movie with Dustin Hoffman that was playing on this. It was called Wag the Dog, and
Oh, really?
he actually played a Clinton-like character.
Wasn't
I
it
believe.
Travolta?
Oh, maybe it was Travolta.
Yeah.
It was Travolta, and he played a Clinton-like character who created a war conflict to detract attention from a personal issue.
Well, they should
Just
have
like-
done that
yeah.
about Margaret Thatcher, because that's what she did.
Yeah, but anyway, I agree with Jeremy that this is obviously an overreaching, and they're trying to use anything they can find.
I'm sort of sliding into the next subject because I want to join it together. I'm getting a certain amount of flack from different people because as a talk show host, I'm being expected to do political interviews. And I'm wondering how neutral does the panel, and I actually want you guys to think about this, how neutral does a talk show host, should a talk show host be? So, for example, you could look at someone like Bill O'Reilly and you jump around, immediate reaction is he's very, very conservative. But if you actually listen to what he says and then read a transcript of it, you find that he's actually surprisingly neutral. It's really quite interesting.
Who are you talking about?
Bill O'Reilly.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
No.
He's full of crap.
You watch.
No,
you
this-
watch.
You
No,
are full of
no.
what they call...
Lately,
Okay.
Jeremy has decided
Listen,
he's not going to
yeah.
support Trump,
There-
so he has to
there is a-
change his tune a little
Yeah,
bit.
there was
Yeah.
there was after Trump actually came on the scene, after the whole Tea Party fiasco as well. There was basically a change of direction for the entire Republican establishment, and the directive, I believe, coming from above to all the talk show hosts were tone it down. We've reached the tipping point. You need to tone it down. Everybody started doing it. Even freaking Rush Limbaugh, even Hannity, everybody toned it down.
Yeah.
And so I disagree. Bill O'Reilly is a massive
Look at some of the stuff before
RBA.
a year ago.
Massive
you know.
RBA.
What is
And,
RBA?
Racist, bigoted asshole.
Okay. I would just say tool, but yeah, go ahead.
RBA, I invented that abbreviation when last week I saw a guy proudly driving his car with a bumper sticker Trump pants, and I had not seen one until now, which is, I figured it out. They must know
Trump pants?
Trump pants.
that, Trump, and
Mike Pence.
Oh, Trump pants.
Oh,
Oh,
Trump
I'm sorry,
pants.
sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you meant
your
P-A-N-T-S.
accent. We all thought you said pants.
Oh, okay, that too.
I
But-
like that because,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
pants is sort
Because
of...
Trump needs pants.
So
Did you see the statue?
So Jeremy, let's
something like that.
Let's revisit this logically. If I say bumper sticker Trump pants, does that make more sense than saying I saw a bumper sticker saying Trump pants? To you, does that to you make more sense? So it's just a logical connection you have to make in your cortex.
What do you expect Jeremy to be, Wittgenstein over there?
But anyway, I was thinking. I was thinking that people that support Trump, they must know.
Can we do that on the radio show?
They must know that placing that bumper sticker says, "I am an RBA." Look at me, I am a racist, bigoted asshole.
I completely agree with him. I have an overarching theory on like why Trump's going to win. That's essentially that sentiment that Trump's what you and I, Kath, were talking about before the show, how Trump just spouts and spews and enough horrible stuff is said that it makes all of it seem less horrible in the aggregate. That's exactly who Trump is courting as his voter. He wants the person that is racist but isn't yet ready and willing to admit that they're racist. But when they get somebody like Trump to go out there and say, we're all racist,
and now I can be a proud racist, bigoted asshole.
Of it. So yes, I agree with you 100%, man.
It's hard to not talk about Trump at this point. We've been avoiding it for quite a while successfully, but it's coming up, and it's looking more and more inevitable.
It seems to me, for Ivo and I as foreigners,
what?
We and eating his fries.
They're French.
It distracted
We're
you,
here
didn't
in
it?
the middle of.
foreign
We're
too.
broadcasting this. We're recording this
Freedom
in
fries
Lawrence, Conroy's Bar and Emporium in Lawrence, which is well known for being very left-leaning, and yet I find myself constantly being amazed by this sort of undercurrent of people who would say, support Trump, you've got to be crazy. But my experience in politics tells me I think I know who you're going to vote for.
Yes.
Because they actually don't like foreigners.
Yeah.
They don't want foreigners here. They don't want black people here. They don't want Mexicans here. They feel that Native Americans should be in a corral somewhere, and so on and so forth. But they're not going to say that. And these are all the people who trot off to church on Sundays and go, "Oh, I'm terribly,"
Yeah.
They're completely deluded. I actually know some people who, when I sit and listen to their quote-unquote viewpoints, they say that, well, I really don't understand why everybody is calling him a racist. I hear nothing that he's saying here is a racist. And you know what? I don't say any. I just let it go. And as soon as we leave, I go, that right there to me is scary because they can't hear it. They don't even, it doesn't even phase into their vocabulary. It just boggles my mind.
These are the same people that drive around in great big SUVs who think they're very, very bright, clever people, and they may be, except the furthest east they've ever been is St. Louis.
Truth.
They've not seen the rest of the world, and
They've gone on cruises.
Yeah, right.
Hey,
But they don't go anywhere where they need a passport.
if you've seen the arch, what else do you need to see? Come on.
People who have lived overseas or done extensive traveling will not vote for Trump. They're not going to.
Speaking of Sunday, I'm going on a tangent again in church, but when did
Going on a tangent is like that, like a float boat?
when did Jesus become property of the right? I mean, that guy was as liberal as they come.
Thank you.
I mean, he was freaking all about wealth redistribution, right? He was like, rich man will not enter heaven, it's more likely a camel to go through the needle of an eye. And I mean, the entire Bible was a freaking liberal Bible.
It's a
Jesus
manifesto,
himself looked
basically.
like Jim fucking Morrison. Look at Jesus.
Oh, now you've
Well,
insulted people. Now you've insulted
so
people.
moving on to another subject, I was brought up, when one dressed for dinner, which I've noticed you Americans don't do.
What are you talking about? This is my Wednesday best.
I was told you had to wear a jacket at dinner, and we were always told we had to wear ties.
But no pants, right?
Pants, that's a different matter.
No Trump pants
Trump
or
pants.
anything.
No Trump pants.
Yeah.
But it was drilled into us that there were certain things that, to use the German vernacular, were
Why are you
verboten.
bringing the Germans into this?
Politics,
Trump,
sex,
you know
and
why?
religion. Politics, sex, and religion
Which
were,
we talked about just now.
were verboten in mixed company, particularly at dinner, discussing one's personal wealth, for
Come on,
instance.
steak fries cannot be considered dinner.
Verboten. Why is this? What? I mean, for a start, why don't you lot dress for dinner? I mean, people thought it was rather
Because we're
strange
called
when I wore
Wednesday
a white
night
jacket.
undressed. We're not allowed to dress here.
Shame.
I don't know if you've noticed, but people don't even dress to go to the grocery store anymore. Half the time you see pajama pants walking around.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
the word pink on the
I
butt.
know that didn't answer your question, but I'm just as an observation.
But I mean, when you and your husband sit down to dinner, you know, and your people bring your whatever it is you're going to eat, don't you?
He's talking about your servants.
I was going to say my people.
I think politics, sex, and religion, you know, it's been a taboo topic for conversation, but I think it's mostly with people
Isn't that
you're
the name
not
of a certain magazine?
taboo.
Yeah.
It's a
definitely
famous porn
video.
movie.
Oh,
Yeah. Taboo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
It goes to
But-
10 now, buddy.
Oh, really?
Well, I don't know
Sorry,
if you
so
noticed,
I've
this has
heard.
probably been one of my biggest tangents the last, I would say, 6-7 months now. Decorum itself has gone completely out. People won't even allow anybody to say anything without having a snide retort. Sometimes I just get so furious listening to it because I think if maybe people would just step back, perhaps the reason that there are some out there who are raging is because nobody will even listen. Not even listen. The Bill O'Reillys of the world, that is why that man infuriates me. It's not because of what he says. It's because of what he won't let other people say. He is incessantly interrupting and rude. I feel like we've gotten to a place where people just don't even have common courtesy anymore.
Have you watched Rachel Maddow? Mm-mm. She is polite to everybody.
Yeah.
And-
Always
and-
smiling.
Yes, and
Doesn't
she
scream.
Well, not
she
always.
asks, "Have I got this
When
right?"
she gets a real asshole in front of her, she doesn't smile. But
Yeah.
she
That
is always
that would be
polite.
Dr.
Yeah.
Maddow,
Yeah.
if you
Dr.
don't
Maddow.
mind, Dr. Maddow.
And that's why I enjoy that show.
I'd like to
why.
ask a question. I want to stay on this subject a little
Check it
bit. And to Jane's point, Kathleen, do you ever want to be girly?
Girly, as in
Yeah,
what?
as
You mean like
in-
hitting people?
No, I mean as in
She's
as
looking at you,
in-
Jeremy.
As in girly. You know, I want to have the door opened for me. I want to be the first person who walks through the door. You know, I want to.
I
there's
define
some-
girly differently.
I do too.
Girly is being in charge of things and making sure things come out right and that people don't kill each other. That's girly.
Dr. Orlando?
I'm not going to argue with that.
Chicken.
Yeah.
I'm still in swinging distance, man.
You know,
That's a completely different conversation.
we used to have kind of a code, gentleman's code in Bulgaria, yeah. And for example, when you enter an establishment with your date, you're supposed to get in first, to open the door, get inside first. Why? Well, they say the reason is because when somebody enters a bar or a restaurant, kind of instinctually everybody that's already inside looks at the door, and it was considered inappropriate and impolite for the lady to come in first and get all the first looks on her, so the man would get in walking first. Also, we always walked on the outside of the sidewalk in case
That seems to be
car,
worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's
and
worldwide.
also,
Poop,
but
you know,
you
the
don't
whole
have
lot.
this here. Listen to this. You don't have it here. In
Civilized
Bulgaria,
people
in
do.
Europe, when you're in the bus, riding the bus or the train, the bus, you have to take 2 steps down, exiting the bus.
Yeah.
If you're with your date, you get outside first and you hold her hand, even though she doesn't need your hand.
Right.
It's such a reflex that everybody's still doing it.
Right.
But it's interesting that this gentleman's code is probably outdated now. It's archaic. That being said, I wouldn't mind feeling girly every once in a while.
Did you say feeling a girly or just feeling
being-
girly?
Hey, so-
Feeling girly with
Okay.
pants.
That's the second slam on your accent tonight, man.
for
Oh, yeah.
Suspenders
for
and a
me,
bra.
I think
Oh, we're
that-
going back to Dr. Orlando.
Yes.
He's decided he's going to pontificate.
yes.
I like that.
think
That's
that
good.
everything that Evo just described is
Yes.
either exactly the same or along the same lines as what we refer to as being chivalrous. And It is outdated because the whole point behind chivalry, the whole point behind walking on the outside where the cars are, or opening the doors so that the woman doesn't have to deal with all the unwanted attention, is that we have to.
Ladies weak.
They're weak. We need to protect them. So I don't necessarily not do those things, but it's something that if it's something that I wouldn't want done for me, then I wouldn't do it. But if it's something that I'd want done for me, if you're walking through the door,
I was going to say,
Jane,
shall we chime in?
Yeah, sure. If I'm walking through the door and there's somebody behind it, I hold it open.
exactly.
You know, if an elderly person of either sex comes along to the door and I'm there first, I hold it open, stand aside while they go in. It's
But don't
sheer
you ladies
politeness.
don't you ladies want to every now and then sort of, to use a phrase you once used with me, to waft in, to be.
I can waft with or without the help of any
Yeah,
man.
I waft all the
Yeah, I
time.
don't
Did you not see me
mind.
when I came
Well, I
in?
haven't come back to you. I wanted to ask you,
Stepping
Doctor.
off of the bus, if somebody wants to give me their hand, I would take it. That's just being
Yeah.
polite. That's a response of politeness. But the problem is that the only problem I have with what you're getting at here is I don't like to be condescended to. As long as my mental capacity can rival yours, then I'm fine. I take no offense if somebody wants to hold the door, walk on the certain side of me, or I don't want to be the moron in the room just because I have.
I have one question. I
Big
need to go
vagina
back and revisit
face.
something else. And there we did it. That was the first time in 2 years that word, or the V word, has actually been used.
Sorry.
Lingerie, Dr. Orlando. We
Okay.
slid into.
We've used plenty of other
Eva
words.
was saying how he would like every now and then to wear hosiery. How do you feel about hosiery and lingerie?
As long as it's the
Just
right
one
size,
topic.
I'm
Topic.
completely
Yeah.
okay with it.
Right,
Yeah.
right, okay. I just.
You're not supposed to put it up your arms or across your head. It's supposed to be on the legs.
On the leg.
Right,
Right.
but having to do all the shaving before you put it on, that's a lot of work. Sometimes I just don't have time for it.
You're supposed to shave?
You know that. You know what was really. You know what was really shocking.
Keep going, Eva. You're doing a great job.
You know what's really shocking is the new pope. The new pope.
He wears suspenders.
He showed up and
stockings.
decided to bring the narrative, the religious narrative, the Catholic narrative, to where it belongs, to where it started.
Agreed.
And it enraged the Republican establishment, enraged the right. In fact, I believe the Pope took the Republican agenda from behind. That's using in one single sentence religion, sex, and politics.
I like it. Oh, I have to think of some more that
One short
that
sentence.
combine the three.
Isn't
Yes.
it great though? Because they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do.
Yeah, they
He's
can't.
He is the
Can't do
supreme
the usual.
pontiff.
Yeah.
But they disagree
They
with half of the
immediately
things
say,
he does.
"Who does he think he is?"
To support the poor. Oh my God. Well, he thinks he's the Pope.
No joke. He's got the little pointy hat to prove it.
He's taking your agenda from
and
behind.
the
Gets a
other
pointy
problem with
hat.
that Pope is that he's actually quite cool because his view is if you don't fucking like it, I'll get on my Harley and drive away. And he can.
Right.
And I will take your
He's only
agenda
just
from
sold
behind.
it. It's only just been sold, his Harley.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let's move on to another question, which someone put to me and wanted me to ask. And so it's completely away from the normal stuff that we deal with, i.e. sex, religion and politics. Why do we love a finely mowed lawn in our yard only to want to put things on it?
Oh, isn't that steals the sex talk?
Well, it is for you, yeah, but I'm thinking particularly with you, Eva, at Christmas, you know.
Oh my!
What is it? No one.
No, the
No one
topic
gets
is
to mow
finished.
my-
That is.
It's over.
That
one
is
get-
about.
We
You
can't
can't go
concentrate
anywhere
now.
from that.
Can I have my?
That is
no
searing
one.
in, and it is getting
Yes,
better with
absolutely.
every second.
So
Oh,
what is
my.
it
Sinking
about
in.
grass cutting that
Oh,
I want to know?
Just so we can put stuff on it.
Yeah, so the cat can poop on it or something.
oh no!
He didn't say calf. He said cat.
No!
No, cat doesn't poop on our lawn. Well, not terribly often.
Jeremy, you have no idea what's going on here. It's just going whoosh right over the head.
Okay, so let's drag it back then. Why do we like a nice mown lawn? Or top quarter
Well,
acre?
do you think?
Damn you, Evo! Damn you!
I'm sorry.
All right.
Couldn't resist.
So, do you think the average homeowner considers the lawn, the function of the lawn, as a ground covering, preventing erosion, so on, so on, so on? Is that important to you guys?
I think people who are new homeowners like to keep their lawn more than people who have been there a while, and so they put a bunch of stuff on it because they think it looks cute, and then after a few years,
It's be desolate.
It starts to go away.
it starts to
Bedazzled,
go away.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is this
That's
a
it.
regional? Is this America or everybody's manicured lawns?
Oh, you want to see the lawns in England?
Okay, I was just.
How
Yeah,
do
they
you
don't
mean,
use
Jeremy?
lawn
We don't
mowers.
like it curly. We don't.
So all
My son has to listen to this thing. Oh.
Well, the thing is, you see, that we have particular types of lawn mowers, and you tend to use rotary mowers. You see, you do. This is for real. But in England, we use what's called a barrel mower, so we can shave it down, and that's very important. Like
They've
tram
got
lines.
the Brazilian strips.
Yeah.
They've got the.
Absolutely.
you know what's really good is with
And I want to
with
know
mowing.
what they do in Bulgaria.
Well, with lawn mowing, has become really such a popular activity in the last 10 years that it's completely taken care of the pests. There used to be lots of pests and parasites, and none anymore.
Okay.
Well, the
last 10,
funny
15
thing is,
years.
before I came here, I never knew about crabgrass.
Yeah.
Well, that's
All right,
almost
let's move
completely
on.
gone at this
Oh my
point.
gosh! I feel like I'm back in a high school classroom. This is fun.
If you could change the way news is reported, what would you change? Where do you pick up your local, national, and international news? Serious question.
Okay, you're
Where do you-
expecting that people in America pick up international news.
Yes, do they?
No.
Do Americans actually listen to international news? I don't just go round. Where do you get your news? Where's your go-to place to get news? Let's start with Dr. Orlando.
Google News.
Come again?
Google News.
Google News.
Yeah.
I literally open up my web browser, point to Google News, and start going down the list of stories that hold import for me.
Yeah. I do that a lot as well. I like Google News, but it's concise. It rarely goes
Yeah.
into great detail. I like watching BBC because they go deep under the upper layer of the story.
They mow the lawn of the
They mow the
story.
lawn, yeah. Let's say something, some kind of earthquake happened in Turkey. They're gonna not just cover how many people have been killed and where the epicenter
Or how
was.
many Americans were killed as well?
No, not the BBC. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I know, I
In
was making a
BBC,
joke.
they'll go and talk a little bit about the social issues and how the lower layers of society are affected by the earthquake. They're going to talk about pre-earthquake, post-earthquake, and so on. So I like the way they approach a story and go in depth. Also, Al Jazeera was a good idea. I actually enjoyed watching Al Jazeera.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it fell apart. But the internet, I also, believe it or not, read a couple of newspapers cover to cover. Still,
Wait a
paper
minute.
newspapers.
Describe that. Describe what those are for our younger
Newspaper
listeners.
is
that
made
like
out
a
of
big-
paper
big
and
book?
ink. There's ink. They use the Gutenberg press, a variation of that, and they print these things called
You
letters
have to
on
iron
it.
them every morning.
Yeah.
Oh, the thing that surrounds the comics.
Yes. And then
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
yeah, and
I
so
remember many years ago
Yeah.
when Father would read the newspapers and they would be ironed before he got them.
That's what I just said.
yeah. So
I
so
was
Kansas
still on
City
the
Star,
lawn.
Kansas City Star. I read it for the local news and opinion page. It's good, and the sports page is good. And then New York Times, I still believe is the best newspaper in the country. Especially the Sunday edition is fantastic. So I read that whole thing. Outside of that stupid, they have this attachment, just a thick magazine about fashion that goes straight into
You
the
don't
trash.
read that. It doesn't show.
It's
I mean,
yeah.
I was sure you read that.
So let's Evo.
Very elegant.
Let's go across to Jane. Where do you get your news from?
I usually go to the BBC homepage. I don't very often get to the New York Times, but I really appreciate a lot of the stuff they have in there. CNN oftentimes, even though that's biased.
Just 2 years
That
ago,
is
all that was
biased.
needed was Jon Stewart. That's where I was getting all the news. But he's
Holler,
gone.
yeah.
Hey, you want
he
some
was
right-wing
awesome.
trash that actually covers a lot of subjects?
So we've now moved to Kathleen.
Okay.
I'm so
yeah.
sorry.
No, it's okay.
Try the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail online has a little bit of everything.
Right.
And if you actually read the whole story they've got, generally you think, hey, that's kind of biased there. But it leads you to stories all over the place.
It's very conservative leading.
And it's got a lot of naked ladies along the side of it, or almost naked, you know.
Those are hard to come
the
by
odd-
on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
The odd nipple. Lewis.
I'm sticking with my Google News. That's really, for me, where I start. And everything that everybody said, I think, is fantastic. And for me, the nice thing about Google News is that it gives me an overview of everything that's going on, and then I can go in and cherry pick the things that interest me most.
Now, what about local
Yeah.
local stuff? I mean, we're broadcasting for Lawrence. Do you go to the local Lawrence?
Well, you can
Right.
localize Google News.
Yeah.
You can narrow it.
And I will not watch local news
I
programs. It's way too depressing. It is. When you talk about things that I would want to change as far as how news is reported, the sensationalization of local news would probably be the top thing on my list.
I listen to Kansas Public Radio,
yeah.
and that's about as
KPR.
local as I get. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, LJ World, sometimes I read the articles. I mean, sometimes they pop in on Google News because you can filter the news to match your interests, which is fantastic, really. I mean, we're evolving. The news delivery mechanisms are evolving rapidly, and it's kind of cool. You know, you spend whatever time you have to read the news, you spend them more efficiently. So it's good. Yeah, the internet's going to replace completely everything. So
I'm getting
Yeah,
very
that's
concerned
true.
because I think we started the show, we were talking about things going to heck. You know, they don't have that je ne sais quoi that there used to be when one sat down for dinner. And now I'm asked another question which comes across me, and that is, what is a reasonable amount of spoons to have in a house? It's a perfect serious question. I have noticed that fewer homes use silver today at the table, and is this because there's just generally a lack of trained staff? And also, I've noticed. Why are you laughing? I've noticed also that there is a lack of courses at dinner today.
It tends to get all piled on one plate instead
Today,
taken to the front of the
I
television.
knew this when
Yeah.
I met you, my dear. There was the.
Were you talking to Kath or me? Just
I was
then?
talking to Kathleen.
Okay.
The first breakfast I had with Kathleen, we had the normal breakfast that one would have, a fried breakfast, perfectly decent breakfast.
fried breakfast.
Out. This was at a restaurant on the side of the road, and then she ordered her breakfast, but she also ordered waffles with jam and
Pancakes,
things,
dear.
pancakes or whatever.
Okay.
Pancakes
To
it
go along
was.
with
Brit
breakfast.
really
And,
not know
and
the
the
difference
waiter,
between waffles
the
and
waiter,
pancakes?
bless him,
He does,
came
he just
along,
can't-
and
it
he
just
asked.
fancies it
He
up.
said to me, he said, "Sir, would you like me to put the pancakes on the warmer for the other guest?" He thought there were three of us. I said to him, "No, she's an American." He went, "Ah."
Neither of them could understand how I could possibly eat pancakes along with eggs and potatoes and bacon.
I mean,
They're a dessert.
Yeah. You can say that.
but so
And it's not like you eat them all. You just pick at them.
Yeah, and
They're
then you
always,
feed them to
yeah.
Jeremy.
But the
That's
point
what's
is,
always
what
happened.
about where has this sitting down for a meal? I mean, I found myself talking to my boys about we're going to have a family dinner, which is a sort of code for you will be at the house at 6 o'clock for family dinner. Got it? Right. They've been voluntold. Lewis.
I think that with the extension of the expectation of a salaried worker and the fact that in most homes both parents work, or all parents, I guess I should say, for homes with a single parent or homes with two parents that work, the notion that you're both going to be
Single parent?
there. Single parent, yeah.
God.
You've got either the work constraint for the parent or the time constraints for the kids. So there's too much going on to for a specific time every day be able to guarantee that you're going to sit down.
Yeah.
And
you can't put the meal on and put it in the oven at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You're not there.
right.
Doesn't work anymore.
I was the single parent, so this is actually kind of an interesting story, I suppose. I flatter myself, but my kids, both of my kids, and I was a single parent. I started working at a 4-star, 4-diamond resort in Colorado Springs.
4-star, 4-diamond?
Yep.
What is that? I didn't even know about the diamond designation.
It's called the Broadmoor.
Okay.
And people stay there all year round.
That's a
It's
psychiatric
crazy.
hospital in England.
Oh, I was like, no.
The 4-diamond is the Michelin rating, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I was working at the top restaurant there, and it was pretty interesting. But either way, the point is, they would give, discounts for people who work there if they wanted to bring their families on. They have a theater there. They would have a family night. You could bring your kids. But I mean, this place was gilded. It's gorgeous. It's exactly what you would expect it to be.
Yeah.
But I had to teach my children for the first time how to properly use a fork and knife, because there's no way they're going to embarrass me. We also had to go through the idea of, when we walk in, you are not to point and go, look at that. And they were just tugging at me the whole time, quietly tugging at me. Mom, look at that. Mom. I mean, it was crazy, but I
Was it a
agree.
nude
That's
resort?
exactly
So-
why.
So
You just don't have time to teach
How
that
long
sort of
did you?
thing.
How much
Yeah.
time did you spend there, working there?
About 4 months.
4 months.
Mm-hmm.
So how depressing it is to be within 1 mile radius of Conroy's after being at that place. I mean, it must be just devastating, just being here, being
Well,
close
nobody
to
at
this
Conroy's has ever sent back a Coke because he didn't like how sharp the ice cubes were when he drank it.
So you have to smooth the ice cubes.
You had to get.
So,
yep.
so did you suck the ice
Wow.
cubes a little while
That's
and
what I
spit them
should have
back?
done.
So
That's what I should have
So
done.
when somebody tells you that the ice cubes are too sharp, and you have a gun, how long of a? I mean, I wonder how short of the time period is between you actually.
Well, this
put
was
one
about
between
10
their
years
eyes.
ago. This was before conceal and carry.
If somebody tells me the ice cubes are too sharp, I'm just gonna punch him in the face. This is ridiculous. Wake up, you idiot!
Well, I'm going to ask our engineer to quickly look up a film, and it's a film with Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton in it called The VIPs. I want to know what the
I heard R2D2 too.
bird.
it's R2D2.
It's R2D2. Anyway, so talking about, I want to know what year it was made. So I asked this question because back in whatever year he's going to tell us it was, we were going up to London for an event, to the theatre or something, and my father decided it was time to stop for lunch. Why we did that, I have no idea. So we walk into this restaurant, right, where they had waiters and all that sort of thing. It's what's known as silver service. And we were the only people in the restaurant except for this other couple sitting about 20 feet away, 30 feet away, right, all very dressed up and everything, you see them. So I'm sitting there, and I had no idea what to order, so my brother and I made a decision early on in life that we would look at the most expensive thing on the menu and we would order that because we didn't know what we should have, you see. 63. So I was 9 when this story happened.
10.
Okay?
But-
And so
Yeah.
I'm sitting there, you see, and I start to, as little boys do, we've ordered, and I'm looking around, and I'm looking around, and I'm looking around, and I can see over in the corner this woman sitting there who's all dolled up. She's got this big hat on, big blue hat, right? And I say to my mother, "Ooh, mummy," say I very loudly, "Ooh, mummy, don't London ladies dress up?" And Elizabeth Taylor turned around and Richard Burton and laughed,
It's no
thankfully.
London lady.
This is absolutely true. It was Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, and they were filming the VIPs.
And your
they
mother
had-
just died. didn't
My
she?
mother... I don't know what happened to my mother. She disappeared.
The payoff for that story almost makes up for the amount of time it took to tell it.
Well, true.
Close.
We still don't know what
You were
is the
gracious
reason.
enough for my story then. Thank you.
Okay, reasonable number of courses at a dinner when you're actually having somebody over. How would that be?
All right, yeah.
And it's not just a buffet taco bar, which is my favorite. You have the nibbles out ahead.
Mm-hmm.
You might serve a starter if it's quite posh, and main meal and a dessert. That's
Oh my God, you guys are
That's it.
aristocrats. I
But-
get him a Subway and turn on Honey Boo Boo. Get fun, guys.
I have to say, I do remember the first time Kathleen came to my parents' house, and she's sitting there. She's been very well behaved, well briefed beforehand, and
I would have been well behaved without being well briefed, dear.
Smoked salmon on brown bread to start with aperitifs and stuff like that,
Oh,
and then
Aperitifs.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and then off we
La-di-da.
go.
Lovely sherry. Mm.
And we were having roast pork actually. And of course, there in England, on roast pork, the crackling, the skin, is a delicacy. Kathleen, of
That's
course,
'cause
being an
they're weird.
American, isn't going to go anywhere near roast
Delicacy
pork.
here, yeah.
And
It's
my
awful.
mother said,
wonderful.
"Would you like some crackling, dear?" To which Kathleen said, "Why?" Before she caught herself, she couldn't understand.
Crackling.
Could understand. That's the skin and fat that have been roasted so
It's like pork rinds, except
pork,
in
pork
Chicharrones.
rinds that have been so hot
Yeah.
they have swelled up a little bit, and you chew them for about an hour before you actually swallow them. And it's fat and hard to chew and disgusting.
Eric is going to be helping me next time we do roast pork, and I can tell you that our engineer is working on some very special roast pork that we will have on our radio show in a few months' time. We've stayed away from politics properly.
No, we didn't.
No, we have. We've stayed away from politics. But I can forewarn you that next week we will be having some folk from Great Britain and New Zealand joining us for the podcast. And that's assuming I can keep control of it. Both ex-BBC, full-time BBC staff. We will be very interested to see what they've got to say about the sort of things that I have to put, and Evo has to put up with here in America or as foreigners. We'll be doing that. But before we go, we want to move to Dr. Orlando for that piece of gravitas that brings us back to the world, the real world that we live in, what we live in. Dr. Orlando, what is the word tonight?
Brothers and sisters, I come to you today with a new word.
Amen.
Here it
Maybe.
is.
Jeremy.
Is. Is.
Yeah, what the heck are you talking about there, Britt?
Yeah.
Well, you keep mocking me.
Well, can you blame me?
There you go. You see, did it again.
All right. Today's word is
The word.
The word.
the word.
I think it's a noun.
It is a noun. The noun is gnuff.
Organic.
No,
Ganef.
gnuff.
It's
A
No,
It's
Ganef.
N-E-F.
It's
Yes.
Welsh.
Good enough.
Gnuff. Is it a thief, a cheese, or a god?
Or somebody who was trying to say enough but can't help putting a G in front of it.
Yeah, that's good.
Good enough.
Good enough.
Yes.
A thief.
Uh-huh.
I'm going with thief.
Or a god.
I'm going to go with God.
I am too. A god.
I think it's a Welsh thief.
Especially when he said it has to be pronounced like enough. I'm going with god.
Ganef.
Okay.
No.
The answer is a thief.
Yes.
Oh, he knew
Oh.
it.
It is
yes.
Yiddish.
Yeah.
He knew it.
Yes. So, well,
There's
thank you for
something
listening,
related.
folks. Thanks to our producer and editor, Eric Holcomb, and engineer Neil Rasmussen. Tom Conroy, of course, for letting us do this every week. Do come and try his steak fries. We've had at least 4 packets today. And for running probably the coolest proper pub in the region. From me, your host, Jeremy Taylor, thanks for joining in. And don't forget to check into our shows live on KLWN 1320, particularly on Friday and Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Central, or go to the site Wednesday night undressed. Yay!